Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make level 5 of the YouTuber apartment house. If you want to follow this video along, I shouldn't have to tell you guys that you should probably have at least one of the previous levels built first. You don't have to build all of the previous levels, but I would highly suggest building at the very least level 1 before you start building random levels. Level 1 will give you a good foundation, and then if you like, you can swap these tutorials around, and after level 1 you could build, let's say, level 4, then level 2, then level 3, or whatever order you like. Plus, you can also change out your YouTubers. You don't have to have them in this order, you don't have to have any of the YouTubers that are viewed here. Throw in your own, customize it. You might like it way more than what I've built for you. And by the way, you guys know how this works by now. The way that you select YouTubers to appear in the individual levels is by leaving me a comment down below letting me know who your favorite YouTuber is for the next level. I think there will definitely be a level 6, but I don't know how many levels there will be to this thing before it just starts looking absolutely insane. So there'll definitely be a next level, and then we'll think about whether there's going to be a level 7 or not. It might just start looking a little too crazy, but let me know who should appear in the next level. That's exactly what we have here. The only reason these 5 characters have appeared in level 5 is because of your guys' suggestions. Literally the only reason. If you want to make any of the previous levels, check out the card system, check out the description below. You'll find links to each one of those levels in there. I'll link you to the playlist. Also, like this video if you wouldn't mind. I'd really appreciate it. Follow me on Twitter at TSMC360, and I think that is way more than enough talking. So why don't we talk about level 5? So level 5 begins on the very left and we'll work our way over to the right. I've decided to put Ihascupquake on the left, and I've decided to use one of her more recent skins, but if you like, you can use whatever skin for Cupquake you like personally. I quite like the one with the brown hair and the red flower, but for the sake of diversity, I thought that I'd have her using one of her more recent skins with the purple hair and the yellow flower, just because it provides a nice color contrast in relation to the rest of the row. So if you want to make this one, you'll need some light blue stained clay, some yellow stained clay, grab white stained clay, some magenta stained clay, grab yourself some yellow wool. You'll also need black wool, and finally grab yourself some pink wool. Now once you have each one of these materials, you're going to want to head all the way up to the top left hand corner of your apartment complex, and you want to be on top of the front top left hand corner of RedVaktor's head. And on top of this corner block, stack a row of, let's say, 3 yellow stained clay. 1, 2, 3. Place a light blue stained clay on top of that, then go right of that light blue stained clay by 2 with your white stained clay. 1, 2. Then do 2 magenta stained clay, 2 white stained clay, then a light blue stained clay. On top of that row, going from left to right, do 1 light blue, 1 pink wool, then do 4 white stained clay, 1 pink wool, 1 light blue. Then for the next row, going from left to right, do 1 light blue, 1 white clay, then do 1 black wool, 2 white clay, 1 black wool, 1 white clay, 1 blue clay. Then for the next row, do 2 blue clay, then 5 white clay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then 1 blue clay. Then for the next row, do 5 blue clay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 white clay, 1 blue clay. For the next row, do 1 blue clay, then 1 yellow clay, then make the rest of the row blue clay. For the next row, do 1 yellow clay, 1 yellow wool, 1 yellow clay, then make the rest of the row blue clay. Then for the next row, do 1 blue clay, 1 yellow clay, then make the rest of the row blue clay to give you Cupquake's face. What we can now do is take the flower in her hair and extend it 1 row towards us, just to give us a bit of a 3D effect. And if you like, although I wouldn't recommend this because I don't think it looks very good, if you like, you can also extend her hair 1 row outwards as well, just so if you like, you can have kind of like the hair face effect. But I don't really like that too much because I think it darkens the face, but it's kind of up to you. You can do whatever you like, but then you'd of course have to extend the flower out by 1 row, or if nothing else, maybe just like the center block anyway. But once you've got that taken care of, you now want to come behind the head. You want to take each one of the back 4 corners of the head and extend them backwards each by 7 with your light blue clay. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then, of course, we can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have to connect these two together. And we want to drag them upwards, and then we want to connect them to the tops of the head. What we're essentially doing here is we're making a big, giant, light blue stained clay cube. That's all we're doing, and then we'll be filling it in. If you haven't made a previous layer of this apartment house, we fill in the left-hand side, the right-hand side, and the back completely. But the top and the bottoms of the head, we only fill in a little bit. Because in the tops and the bottoms of the head, we want to have enough room for windows. We want a 4x4 square window in the top of the head and the bottom of the head. This just promotes a little bit more light. It allows you to see things like down below on the different levels. You can look up through the house. It's just a cool effect no matter what way you look at it. You can fill them in if you like, or what you can do, like I said, we're going to basically just go all the way around the base of Cupquake's head here, and I'm going to use the light blue stained clay just because I like it a bit more than the white stained clay, and we're going to leave a 4x4 grid right in the bottom of the head. You can measure it up using RedVaktor if you like. You can see that it's in line with RedVaktor's square, and you can do the same above as well. I mean, it's basically all you do is you just add a layer of whatever material you want, going all the way around the inside of the top of the head. And later, we'll do it all together. We'll throw glass in each of the individual YouTuber heads. But at the moment, that is Ihascupquake. If you like, you can also delete the guiding blocks as well, because we don't really need those, do we? I mean, that looks okay, it's just that her face is a bit dark. I mean, I kind of like the effect with the hair, but if her face was brighter, as I imagine her to be, I'd like it a little bit brighter, that's all. So, once you've got Cupquake done, the next character we're going to be making is Pinksheep. To make Pinksheep, we'll need some pink wool, we'll need some white wool. Can you imagine we'd need pink? You need some black wool, and we need some purple stained clay, some magenta stained clay, and some white stained clay. That's all you need. Very few materials. So, Pinksheep is going to be built above Sky, and it differs a little bit because we want to come to the top front left-hand corner of Sky's head, right here. We want to move 1 row inwards towards the back, and then from here we want to do a row of 3 white wool coming up. That's 1, 2, 3. Then stack a pink wool. Delete the guiding blocks. Go right of this pink wool by 7. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then go up on top of that by 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then go left by 7. And then connect back down to where you first started to form a square shape. What we can now do is Pinksheep's face. So we'll start Pinksheep's face inside of this empty square, but 1 row outward. So to give you an example, we want to place a white wool here in the empty space that we have in the bottom front left-hand corner of Pinksheep's empty space of the head, and we have our white wool, and we're going to go right of this by 1 with the white stained clay. Then 2 with the purple stained clay. 1 with the white stained clay, 1 with the white wool. For the next row, we want to do 2 black wool, 2 magenta stained clay, 2 black wool. For the next row, we want to do 1 white stained clay, 4 black wool, 1 white stained clay. For the next row, do 1 black wool, 1 white wool, then 2 white clay, 1 white wool, 1 black wool. For the next row, do an entire row of white stained clay, followed by an entire row of white wool. Perfect, that's exactly what you want. Then we want to take Pinksheep's mustache and we want to extend it 1 row towards us with the black wool, like this. Then we want to take the back 4 corners of Pinksheep's head and we want to extend them backwards not by 7 but by 6. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it wants to line up with the back of Cupquake's head. The reason being is, and by the way, you obviously want to extend each one of the back corners back by 6. You want to drag them up, you want to connect them together, you want to form a big pink cube, and then you want to fill in the back hand side of the cube, the left hand side, the right hand side, and a little bit the top and the bottom, but we'll talk about that in a second. The reason that Pinksheep is a little bit different is because I didn't want his face to stick out so much, because if we would have lined up the front of his head with like cupquakes and then added the mustache, like I just figured that might be, his head might stick out a little bit too much. I thought that might be the case, so what I've done is I've sunk his head backwards by 1 row so that his mustache is actually like in line with the outer part of Cupquake's head. And I know that Cupquake's flower comes out by 1 row, but I really didn't anticipate making the flower come out by 1 row. But we have filled in the back, left, right hand sides of the sheep. What we're now going to do is we're going to add a layer of pink wool, and this layer of pink wool is actually going to look more like a U shape or an N shape. And what we're doing, of course, is we just want to have the square in the base of the head, and because the head is smaller, that means that we can only have we can only do 3 rows of pink, 1 on the left, 1 on the right, and 1 at the back. It means that we can't just go around in like a uniform shape. You guys can see what I'm talking about, like we're missing a row from the front, and that's because we want the square in the same place in each one of the heads. But anyway, that is Pinksheep, and of course we'll add some glass to him when we add glass to all of the others. So that's Pinksheep taken care of. Let's talk about Jerome. So to make Jerome, we'll need ourselves some black stained clay, we'll need some magenta stained clay, we'll need some cyan stained clay, we'll need some brown wool, black wool, and we'll need some white wool. Let's make Jerome. So to make Jerome, you want to come all the way up to the top front left hand corner of Yourpalross's head, and you want to, on top of this corner block, do 3 black stained clay. 1, 2, 3. Then do a brown wool, knock out the guiding blocks. Go right of that brown wool by 7. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then, going from left to right on the next row, do 2 brown wool, 1 white, 2 magenta, 1 white, 2 brown. For the next row, do an entire row of brown wool. For the next row, do 3 brown wool, 2 cyan stained clay, 3 brown wool. For the next row, do 2 brown, 1 black, 2 brown, 1 black, 2 brown. For the next row, do an entire row of brown wool. For the next row, do 1 brown, 1 black stained clay, 1 brown stained clay, 1 black stained clay, 1 brown stained clay, 1 black stained clay, 1 brown stained clay, 1 black stained clay. For the next row, it is that same pattern except reverse. So it's 1 black clay, 1 brown, 1 black, 1 brown. You guys get the idea until you reach the very end of the row, like this. And that is the front of Jerome's head. What we now want to do is we want to, with our brown wool, we want to take the very bottom row of the head and we want to extend it towards us by 1 row. We then, on the very left 2 blocks, and on top of the very right 2 blocks, want to stack 2 brown wool. So that's like 1 and 2, 1 and 2 on the left, and 1, 2, 1, 2 on the right. And there we have his face. Very easy. We now want to come to the back of the statue, and this is where things are a little bit trickier than usual. So it's going to be easy if you move the black stained clay and the brown wool together, and we want to take, let's say, this black stained clay that we have on the very back left hand side of the head. We want to take this black stained clay, and counting backwards, we want to do this. So we want to have 7 blocks coming back, and we want to adhere to the pattern. It will look like this. It will be 1 brown wool, that's 1, 1 black stained clay, that's 2, 1 brown wool, that's 3, 1 black stained clay, that's 4, 1 brown wool, that's 5, 1 black stained clay, that's 6, 1 brown wool. So we've counted 7 blocks back and we're following the pattern around. We then want to go right of this brown wool and we want to still do the pattern. We want to do 1 black stained clay, 1 brown, 1 black, 1 brown, 1 black, 1 brown, 1 black, until we line up with the opposite side of the head. Then we want to connect that opposite side of the head to the back of the head, and it just wants to follow the pattern, if you guys can see what I'm talking about. There you go. And then on top of this row that you've made, you want to have the same pattern except reversed. So on top of brown you place the black, on top of black you place the brown. It's easy as that, just going all the way around the top of the head. It's as easy as that. Then once you have this pattern done for those top 2 rows, because it's just the top 2 rows, you then want to take the bottom 2 corners of the head, extend them outwards by 7 each with the brown wool. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we can just connect that all the way up to the top of the head, can't we? Then we can connect this to the right hand side, we can drag it over to the right. That seems about even to me. We can connect it upwards. We can then take this, corner, this front bottom left hand corner of the face here, and then we can just turn this into, well, just how we have all of the other houses. We want to fill in the back, left, right, and then we just want to mess about with the top and the bottom. That's all we have to do. And this is Jeromeasf. Very, very simple. Very easy. I'm noticing that a lot of these heads are actually really, really easy. I think I've unintentionally chosen a whole set of really easy heads to make. I didn't anticipate on this happening. It still looks pretty good though. So, once you've got each one of these sides filled in, we're now just going to fill it in the bottom with a layer of brown wool going all the way around the base of the inside of the head. We'll just do that layer of brown, like that, and then we'll come into the top of the head here, and we'll do the same thing, but this time we'll use a different material. We'll use like black stained clay, just to keep things a little bit interesting, because why not? Also, it looks like he has a halo this way, and I kind of like that. So, there we have Jerome. Easy enough. The next character that you might be aware is already coming up, we have ourselves Purpleshep to make, don't we? One of my personal favourites. So, to make Purpleshep, we'll need some white stained clay, we'll need pink magenta stained clay, and purple stained clay. We'll also need some black wool, we'll need some white wool, and can you imagine we're going to need some purple wool? Just like with Pinksheep we needed the pink wool, we need purple wool with Purpleshep. Who would have ever have guessed? So we want to come all the way up on top of Mithzan's head, and we want to be on top of the top front left hand corner here. We want to move one row inwards, and on top of this we want to stack a row of 3 white stained clay. That's 1, 2, 3. Then place a purple. Destroy the guiding blocks. Go right of this purple wool by 7. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Go up on top of this by 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then go left by 7 and connect all the way down to the opposite side. So you have a square of purple wool. We now want to do his face. So can you guys remember, we start in the front bottom left hand corner, and it's where this empty space is, and we want to start off with a white wool coming out in front of this empty space here. You guys know what to do, right? Well, from this white wool, in front of this bottom left-hand corner empty space, we want to go right of this by 1 the white wool, then 2 white clay, 2 white wool. Then for the next row, going from left to right, do 1 white clay, 1 black wool, then 4 white stained clay. For the next row, do 1 white clay, 1 white wool, then 2 purple clay, then 2 white stained clay. For the next row, do 1 black wool, 1 white stained clay, then do 2 magenta stained clay, then 1 white wool, 1 white stained clay. For the next row, do 4 white wool, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 black wool, then 1 white wool. Then make the entire rest of the next row white wool. You'll end up with something that should look like this, which does look like a little bit of a mess, but we're going to fix it. We want to then take this black wool that we have here on the very left, midway up the face, and we want to place a black wool in front of it. From there, do an upright diagonal. Go right by 1, then do an upright diagonal. That's what you want to have. Still messed up, but at least it's calculated mess. Once you've got that taken care of, you now want to come to the back of Purpleshep. You want to take each one of the 4 corners of the back of Purpleshep's head, and you want to extend them backwards by 6 with the purple wool. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you guys know what to do from here. We're just going to drag this over, connect it to the other side, drag up the 2 back corners here, then we'll connect them to the top. But you guys know how this works. We did the same thing with Purpleshep, we've done the same thing with Jerome, we've done the same thing with Ihascupquake, and we're going to do the same thing with with the next guy. We'll do the exact same thing with the next guy, whatever his name may be, because I've slightly forgotten it. I'm sorry guys, there's a lot of YouTubers to remember. I must have made well over 100 YouTubers by now, surely. I'm pretty sure I have, not just in this little build that we have here for the apartment complex, but in total, I'm sure that I've built well over 100, so forgive me if I forget the names. So, that is the back, left, and the right hand side taken care of, and of course, remember that with Purpleshep, just as with Pinksheep, you don't want to do like the ring at the bottom, you want to have kind of like an N shape with your purple wool, so like that. And as long as it lines up with the wool that you have, or with the space that you have for Mithzan's head, then that's all fine. So we're going to do the same up at the top here. Again, it's more like an N shape or a U shape than anything else. And there we have Purpleshep's head. And once you have that taken care of course, we have just one head left. And that, of course, is TheFearraiser. So to make Fear, we're going to need some white stained clay. We'll need some brown stained clay. Also, grab yourself some magenta stained clay. And grab yourself some white wool. We'll need purple wool, magenta wool, some black wool, and that's all we'll be needing. So once you have each one of those, you want to make your way all the way up to the top front left hand corner of Barney's head. And on top of this corner block, you want to stack a row of 3 brown clay. So that'll be 1, 2, 3. On top of that third clay, place a white stained clay. Destroy the guiding blocks. Go right of that white stained clay by 3. 1, 2, 3. Then do a black wool, followed by a magenta stained clay, followed by a black wool, followed by a white stained clay. For the next row, going from left to right, do 3 white clay, followed by 4 white wool, then 1 white stained clay. For the next row, do 1 white clay, 1 purple wool, 1 magenta, then 2 white stained clay, 1 purple wool, 1 magenta, 1 white stained clay. And for the next row, do 1 purple wool, 2 magenta, 2 purple, 2 magenta, 1 purple. For the next row, do 3 white wool, 1 brown clay, 3 white clay, 1 brown. For the next row, do 5 brown clay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then do 1 white clay, 2 brown. For the next row, do 3 white wool, then do the rest of the row with brown clay. Almost said wool. Then for the final row of Fear, do an entire row of brown stained clay. And that is Fear's face. Looks pretty cool actually, I quite like this skin. Once you've got that taken care of, we now have to make some adjustments to the side of the head. Fear has a little bit more of a complicated head than the rest of these guys. So we're going to come to the right hand side of Fear's head. And first of all, we're going to take this purple wool that we have here on the side of the head, and we're going to extend it backwards by 2 with the purple, so that's 1, 2. We then want to take out the white stained clay, and we want to do 3 bottom right diagonals from it. That's 1, 2, and that'll be 3. You then want to go back by 2. 1, 2. What you can then do is fill the under part of this shape that we have here in with white stained clay. And you can fill the upper part of this shape that we have here in with brown stained clay. So lower half white, upper half brown. Now the opposite side of the head is very similar, except we do have a couple of changes. I'll show you. So this is the right hand side of the head. Let's move to the slightly more complicated left hand side of the head. So we're once again going to start with the glasses, and we're going to extend the purple of the glasses backwards by 2, that's 1, 2. We're then going to do 3 bottom left diagonals with the white stained clay, that's 1, 2, and 3. We're then going to move back by 2, 1, 2. We'll then once again fill in the under part of this shape in with white stained clay. We then want to take the 2 white wools that we have on the side of the head and extend them backwards each by 3, that's 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. We then want to fill in this side of the head with brown stained clay, so we then just want to fill everywhere else in with brown stained clay, so very, very similar to what we did on the opposite side, except we've got the white wool in there. Well, once you've filled that with brown stained clay, you then want to connect the white stained clays together, back block to back block, and then you can just proceed to fill in the rest of the head with brown stained clay. And that's all there is. And of course, once you've done that, all you have to do is fill in the top and the bottoms of the head with the various materials. You just want to do the ring of brown stained clay at the top, and if you want, you can use white stained clay at the bottom, or you can use another layer of brown. It's kind of up to you. I think I actually added too many layers there. That was silly me. I added an extra row, but there we go. We have added that at the top, and at the bottom, I think I'll add a layer of white stained clay. I don't always. Sometimes I just throw in a random color because you don't see it that much, and I prefer to have a color that I liked a bit more than brown stained stained clay, but there we go, we have the white stained clay, and there you have it, there you have Fear's head. Well, once you've got all of those taken care of, we have to do a couple of things still. Obviously, we have to fill in each one of these heads with glass. We have to fill in the top of the head, and we have to fill in the bottom of the head. But something that we're going to do first is we're going to focus on connecting them together. So, to connect them together, we're going to need a few materials. We need some block of quartz. We'll also need some quartz stairs. We'll need some black stained glass block and some black stained glass paint. We'll also need ladders. So first, we're going to talk about connecting the top of this row down to the previous layer. So we're going to connect level 5 down to level 4. So level 5 and level 4 will only connect at the very ends where we have Fear and where we have Cupquake. So I'm going to start on Cupquake first. First of all, I'm going to connect the top 2 middle blocks at the back of RedVaktor's head all the way up to the bottom 2 middle blocks at the back of Cupquake's head. I'm then going to skip a row coming up in this light blue clay, and then I'm going to destroy 2 rows of 2 here so we can actually access the back of Cupquake's head. I'm now going to break into the chamber below, down here, so we can actually work on getting the ladder system going. I'm going to come all the way down to the top of RedVaktor, and I'm going to, first of all, do a little bit of a platform here. So I'm going to have a row of 3 quartz in a platform that kind of like, so you can walk directly off of RedVaktor's head onto the platform. I'm going to take this quartz block that sits behind the ladders, and I'm going to extend it up by 1, 2, and 3. Connect it to the back of Vaktor's head. I'm then going to run a row of ladders so you can climb up that row of 3, and a row of ladders that runs all the way up the back of Vaktor's head all the way up to the Cupquake. And then I'm going to extend the glass chamber that houses the ladder system, and I'm going to extend this chamber upwards and around all of this, just so that we have a nice closed system that nobody can fall in or out of. That's basically what this is, and you guys may have noticed that I just kind of done goofed here with the glass. One of the most irritating things to fix this, where you like place a block every other block instead of like doing it in a straight line. I just really wish that wouldn't happen, but we've just about connected things together, and that is Cupquake and Vaktor connected together. Now we're just going to conceal the quartz a little bit on the front, and to do that we're just going to cover all of the quartz blocks that are visible. We're going to cover them with black stained glass because it makes them a bit inconspicuous. Like you can see, it's a little bit harder to see, that's all it is. So, once you've connected Vaktor and Cupquake, we're now going to connect Barney and Fear, which, in my mind, are already connected. So, we're first of all going to run the layer of quartz to connect them together. We'll then have the holes in the back of Fear's head so we can actually walk in and out. We're then going to knock down into the chamber at the bottom, and we'll create a platform at the base of Barney's head. We'll then take this block that sits behind the ladder, we'll extend it up by 1, 2, 3 with the quartz, and then to the back of Barney's head. We're then going to have the ladders running all the way up this row of 3, and all the way up Barney's head, all the way connecting to Fear. Then all we have to do, of course, is we just have to have the glass chamber that goes all the way around the ladder system. That's all it is. It's just a nice glass chamber. And once we have messed with this thing on the back, you guys know that we'll be doing it on the front a little bit as well. We're just covering the quartz blocks. Without it, it basically, what it does is it dulls the quartz a little bit. So, whereas you have a nice, bright, shiny block, we just take that block and we just dull it a little bit. That's all we do. It's not supposed to be like invisible doing this. It's just supposed to make things a little bit more dull. I mean, you'll be able to see the difference. That's a glass chamber cleaned up. Like, you can see the difference. Like, that's obviously quite white. It's quite shiny, but you add the dull black finish to it, and it's just not visible as much. That's all it is. I mean, you can obviously still see it, but you can see it less. And there you go. They have the connections between Fear and Barney, and you have the connections between Cupquake and Vaktor, of course. And it's the same thing going all the way down. That's how each one of the heads, or each one of the levels, connect to each other. So, once you've done that, the next order of business is to connect each one of the heads in the row together. So, to do that, we're going to start with Fear. And on the left hand side of his head, and we're inside the head now, we want to take the 4 middle blocks in the bottom 2 rows. So, like, starting from the left here, you want to count and you want to find blocks number 3 and 4. So this is the first, second, third, fourth, knock them out. Knock out the 2 above. You have this 2x2 door now. We want to continue this 2x2 door, going all the way through each one of the heads in the same space, and we want to cut all the way through to Cupquake's head. That's how we want this to work. We want to go all the way through to Cupquake. So we will knock out the 2 center blocks in Cupquake, and you can see that we have the doorway passing all the way through. We then want to connect each one of these heads together with a layer of black stained glass block. That's how it works. It's just black stained glass block connecting each one of the sides of the heads together like this. And then on the sides of the black stained glass, we want to have some upside down quartz stairs. So we'll have upside down quartz stairs on the front and the back of the glass. And then on top of the upside down quartz stairs, you'll then stack glass pane. So we'll use the black stained glass pane on top of the quartz, and that's just to make sure nobody falls off. If you've done any one of the previous levels, you'll know how this works. You will, because we've done it for every single one, but we do have to connect these together, so there's no way around it. And now I'm just going to add the pane individually to fear, adding pane to fear. We're going to add the pane to fear, and of course we're just going to add the pane to every single one of these individual walkways. So we've just got the last one to do here, which connects Pinksheep to Cupquake, and we'll end up with something that should look a little bit like that. So you can see they're all connected together, and they are connected to the previous layer, which are connected to the previous layer, and previous layer, so on and so forth. So we have a nice big giant connected house. Now the last thing that we have to do, and this is something that I won't be doing on recording because it does take a little bit of time and it's a bit tedious, we have to fill in each one of the individual YouTubers with glass, the bottom and the top. Now, use whatever glass you like. I'm just use mine as a guideline if you like, but just use whatever you want. So for Cupquake, I think I'm going to use some magenta stained glass, just because. For Pinksheep, I think that I will use some purple glass. For Jerome, I think I'll use some orange glass. For Purpleshep, I think I'm going to use pink glass. And I'd kind of like to use some purple glass as well, actually, for Fear, because he's got those cool glasses. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to fill in the tops and the bottoms of each one of these individual heads, and then I'll be back to show you what that looks like, and then we'll wrap up this video, because we have just about done. And there we have it, guys. I have filled in each one of the 5 individual YouTuber heads, using very similar colours for each one of them, but honestly, I like it, so I'm not going to change it just for the sake of having different colours. The tops and the bottoms are filled in identically. So if you like, beyond this point, because this tutorial is pretty much over, you can fill these heads in with materials. You can fill them in with like beds, and you can make them into tiny little rooms. Whether you want to have a tiny little room or house for each one of these individual heads, or whether you want to turn them into a big giant like long apartment house, that's up to you. But if you want some ideas for how you can actually fill these in individually, let me take you to the ground floor, and let me show you how I filled in the originals. Now, this isn't possible at the moment in the other heads because there's glass on the floor, but you can absolutely turn each one of these heads into a nice little bedroom, pretty much. You can have a nice little survival-looking-ish bedroom, and you can definitely apply this to the other heads, but you'll have to work around the glass, that's the only thing. And this is why I like the glass, by the way, because you can look directly up and you can see what's going on up there. Like we can see in PopularMMOs head that we've got some stuff going on there. That's kind of cool. So each one of these heads is actually like furnished identically, so I'm not going to show you all of them, but that's something that you can add to the next row and the next row and the next row, or just turn them into a big giant long house. It's kind of up to you, whatever you want to do. But there we go, guys. That is level 5 of the YouTuber. I didn't turn the hand off, did I? That is level 5 of the YouTuber apartment head house. Now, I I am willing to do a level 6, but you guys are going to have to let me know who you like. So please, if you do enjoy this video, give me a like, give me a favorite, give me a share. I'd really appreciate it. I'd love it if you guys could show this video some love. Do comment down below. Let me know who you want to see in the next row. It's completely dependent on you guys. It is. That's all it is. You guys have got to let me know if you want to see anyone in particular in the next row, because otherwise it won't be made. You guys have to let me know. Follow me on Twitter at TSMC360. Check out the card system, check out the description below. I'll be leaving you a link to a playlist which will contain all of the previous YouTuber apartment head houses, and in the description especially, I'll link each one of these individually. So thank you very much for watching, guys. I really appreciate all the feedback and the love that you guys give these particular videos. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video.